What's up? What's up? It's your boy Chef. I'll be checking in, and I'm here with the gang, the guys, the Blitz Package. We kind of been, hey, y'all like that, right? Y'all like that? Blitz Blitzy. We've kind of been friends for minimum at least 7 years as the group as a whole. So, you know, it's Men's Mental Health Month, June, Men's Mental Health Month. So we decided to just come together, have a sit-down talk, and kind of give things from our perspective that we deal with mentally, and just golden nuggets that we can give to others as well. So, you know, yeah, that's what we're here for tonight. You can say your name or whatever you want to be addressed by, whatever the nickname is, whatever the case may be.
I'm Roderick Taylor, host of the Rise and Grind podcast.
T-Ron, I do what I do here to help out any way I can.
Jacari, better known as Kari.
Pat, co-founder, Avenue 13 Studios.
I go by Kiesto, Kiesto
The Beasto.
Yes, sir. You know, we just here and doing our thing.
Yep. To kind of jumpstart the conversation, what do you think is the reasoning or the significance of having a month like June set aside just for men's mental health?
I think because as a man, I feel like throughout the whole year, we focus so much on trying to provide and try to help for others that we don't get a month to ourselves. June is Father's Day, you know, so that represents us, you know, as men, and just taking this month to sit there and actually reflect on everything and thinking about how we move and, you know, how we carry ourselves is really important. So I think that's kind of like the focus in on why this month especially, you know, they kind of bunch us all together, you know, Father's Day, all that stuff like that. But why not take heed to when we got it, you know, at our disposal?
For sure. And why do you think it's such a struggle? Anybody can really answer. Why do y'all think it's such a struggle for men to open up about mental health, what they're feeling, what they're thinking, what's going through their mind, things of that nature?
I mean, I feel like historically, men are like set in a gender role of worker, provider, hunter, gatherer, something like that. So you're expected to be the masculine at all times, and that's okay. But I think this month makes it a bit more okay to highlight that's not all that a man is. You can get sad sometimes. You can be unsure. There's a lot of things that can go on. But I think that gender role of a man's masculinity kind of puts us in a box, right, per se.
Gotcha. Somebody there, Pat, Kari? Why do we often struggle to open up? Why do we often struggle to open up, us as men?
I think just speaking for just the African American community, a lot of us just put like self-induced pressure on ourselves. I know I'm speaking just for myself. I have a lot of goals, you know what I mean? I want to reach the highest level. So I think at times we put too much pressure on ourselves. So it's good to kind of like highlight that, have a conversation about it, and understand, you know, what you can do to work on it. You know, it starts, like I said, with having a conversation, open up to your guys or whoever it may be that you're having a conversation with, being honest. And then from there, you know, developing sort of like a game plan, going step by step, and just, again, realize about, I think, going back to what I said, I think it's just that self-induced pressure. We all want to be the best. We want to support our family. We want to get that promotion. We want to get, you know, whatever it may be, and say we don't get it. So that's where the pressure comes in. Now, you know, you feel like you let yourself down, you let your family down, you let your girl down, whatever it may be. So I think it's a lot of that. Like I said, we put all of this pressure on ourselves. We think as men, like you said, you know, we all supposed to be masculine. We're supposed to handle every task. We're not supposed to ask for help. We're not supposed to show emotion. We're supposed to be masculine. A lot of times, bro, it's not even about that, you know? Like, be honest. Like I said, have that conversation. Express yourself, cry. You know what I mean? Like, it's cool to cry all the time, bro. Like, it's cool.
But see, that's to piggyback off of that, that's what you've learned while you've been doing your growing. We're not taught that, especially as black men. We taught the, hey, chin up.
Absolutely.
Don't let them see no weakness. Like, you know what I mean? And I think that's where we need to be able to break apart. When you said open up, like I said, that's not even in our vocabulary. What you mean?
There's a moment of unlearn,
Yeah.
relearn that needs to be done, especially in our culture of black men. Just to piggyback off of what you both said, I'm not sure about you guys. I grew up in a culture that we were disciplined for showing emotion and tears by our father. Come to learn that that's actually to our detriment as we get older. So like I said, it's something that we have to unlearn, relearn, and teach to the next generation, and to our peers.
Not for real.
And I think it's an ongoing battle. Just from the sense of, like you said, we're saying opening up and things of that nature. Even just talking about, not everybody has a safe haven that we have as a group and things like that, to where, yeah, we're going to joke around, we're going to get on each other's ass and things of that nature. But it's, we know whenever it's time to get serious and lock in and be there for our brother, then it's time. But imagine the people that have to open up to somebody new each time whenever something new goes wrong and they have somebody else in their life at that point in time. Kind of just speak on what we have, and then also looking from the other point of view, before we had this, how hard was it to try to get over those mental times, those hardships and those roadblocks that we go through.
See, I can attest to that. Even at a young age, we're instilled to do so many things. Like, we've been in football, we've been in basketball, been on these sports. There's no time to think about, man, why am I feeling this way? Why can't I say what I want to say? Oh, no, this because I got to bounce back. I got to go focus on my grades. I got to do this. I got to do that. You're never too young to open up and say how you feeling. And I think that's where the line gets drawn, is that we start off and we got that line of, I got to focus in. I got to lock in. There's no time to say how I'm feeling. Oh, I don't want to go work out today. Dad, I ain't trying to go do this. You know what I mean? So I think it starts in that instillment of the being young and not really being able to do that.
Right.
Absolutely, absolutely. You know, I feel the same way. Especially, you know, with Jew Hop, the way we work, like, sometimes you just feel like, you know, it don't matter how you feel. You got to push it to the side. We got work to do. Right. And you can get so caught up in that, doing it for so long. You don't even realize you suppressing stuff. You don't even realize, you know what I'm saying, you've been fighting depression this whole time and been distracting yourself by going to work every day, staying on it, and it's just tough. But speaking more to the question, you know, I was one of the last people to join the group. Yeah. And so beforehand, it was just, you know, me, my other homeboy O'Shea, and that was really it. Right. You know, I had my college friends, but most of them are in Houston. So, you know, when I started coming around y'all and seeing how y'all embraced everybody and, like, embraced me, you know, didn't treat me no different than anybody else. Like, y'all, you know, show up for me, get on my ass, all that. So, it's, you know, it was a beautiful thing, you know, to find, like, a group of brothers that really, you know, will show up for you and you could talk to them, you know what I'm saying, ask for help, go do things with, you know. I really appreciated that, for sure.
Yeah,
I think it's important to have that. Because I'm thinking back before, because I was always in a point in life where I've had a close-knit circle, so I've always been able to talk about my problems with my friends. But I think the importance of it, or the thing that I realize is more important nowadays, is as a grown man, I can look back at 18, 19, 20, and the company that I kept wasn't the company that I needed to be getting feedback from. So with this group, it's a lot different than the circle that I was in and the setting that I was in when I was 18 or 19 or 20. And there's a lot of different feedback that I get from the men in this circle than I would get from the guys that were in the circle that day. It wouldn't have been as beneficial to my life or towards progress at all. So not only is it about having a circle around you, but you got to have the right circle around you.
100%. That's facts. Keith?
I know for me, at a point in time, like, just even the thought of opening up to somebody and expressing how I felt, I didn't want to get judged.
Right.
So like I kept a lot of that, like a lot of the things that I went through to myself, just off the strength of like, alright, if I tell this person, they gonna look at me differently. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It ain't even just. It can be just one of them days, like, bro, I feel like I'm at the bottom. You
But
know
that's
what I'm saying?
huge.
I'm not feeling it.
Facts.
But who can I tell?
Yep.
And if you feel like you can't tell nobody, then something's really not right in your, you know what I'm saying, in your
Yeah,
circle. You got to reevaluate what's around you. Because, you know what I'm saying, your parents going to be there for you regardless of the matter. Like, that's their job, per se. You know what I'm saying? That's your mom and your pops. But outside of that, if you don't have something like this type of setup,
Right.
especially when you get to your mid to late 20s, where you really starting to see life a whole lot different.
Life started becoming life.
Yeah, so and it changes quick, like,
Right.
you know what I'm saying? So you don't see that coming sometimes, so especially if you in that phase of life, you going through it. You know what I'm saying? If you don't got nobody you can chop it up with, just on some regular, like, Tyron, for example, my man's, me and him, no, it can be middle of a Wednesday afternoon, 11
Facts.
o'clock. What you doing, bro? You good?
Yeah.
Nigga, I'm at work.
I'm just checking in.
I ain't want nothing, you know, I was just checking on you. I bet, cool. But that's just one of them one-off things, like, somebody care, you know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying that to, you know what I'm saying, but I know all of us care about each other to the utmost, you know what I'm saying? So it's always a phone call away, and I feel like for a long time in a black man's life, a lot of people don't get that.
Right. And there's 2 points that I kind of want to piggyback off of. One of them being, which will snowball into a whole bigger conversation, so maybe I'll save that one. So I'll go the first one. Kind of just like you're saying, being able to hop on the phone with anybody in random time. We ain't got to text and say, hey, are you free or nothing like that. Kind of like that thing that's trending right now where they calling random people in their phones saying good night and things like that. I was like, bro, if we did that, bro, like I don't think nobody would even trip. They'd be like, all right.
I would
I would have been so cool. Don't call me.
Y'all say that, y'all, and that's what I say. I say y'all gonna say that now, but if somebody call you, be like, "Hey, bro, everything good, bro?" Like, okay,
That's
bro.
how I would have. I would have like, hey, you all right?
Yeah.
If you check on me first, that's one thing.
I would have somebody was dying if somebody said something like
you
that.
just-
would have went to concern mode.
Good night, my boy. I'm alright, fam.
I was thinking about you. I want to tell you good night. What?
Your girl standing next to you. What's going on?
Bro, hold on. Let me get myself together. We gotta talk. What you mean?
Nah, you
What's
would have got a
going
follow up text the next day for sure. I would have let you say your good night, and then the next day I'd be like, "Hey, brother, like I'm married, folk."
No, I'm a grown man.
Don't
Call me
bro.
and tell me good night.
Yeah, bro, check in.
But nah, in the sense of checking in though, that is very important, and I feel like that's something we do strongly as a group.
We do.
We have faded away from it. Lives happen, you know.
Yeah.
We get busy, work. Like you said,
grow
we
up.
grown men. We trying to take care of business. But I think the essence of just picking up the phone and being like, "Are you good? Like, is there something you need?" Like, and that brings me to another point, like asking for help. I feel like we run away from that as men, you know? And I feel like we shouldn't. Like, just because I'm not saying ask for help like, hey, bro, let me hold $100. That's not what I'm saying.
That too, though.
You know, that is true. But I'm saying in the sense of like, bro, I'm struggling. I just need to release what's in my mind right now. Like, I just need to say something. My job been kicking my ass. From my boss, I'm ready to choke him. This is last week.
He finna be tapped in.
But man, just having that lane to come to and actually be able to express that, I feel like that's very important, and I feel like we miss that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, definitely. Community. Yeah, that's the thing, right? Basically, like having that community has been strong, been very important. I think in everybody's life we can speak to it, and I think it's something that a lot of people don't have, something that a lot of people search for. So, kind of what Pat was saying, like I'm grateful for the circle always, man. Because going back to kind of what you started with, Hop. Yeah, I mean, anytime somebody want to check in, you ain't gotta like outside of the funny, like you know, the trend when we're really checking in. You don't have to send a text. You know, most of the time it's FaceTiming. If we need to talk, which is crazy, right? Because that's just the time that we live in. We do text. Our group chat goes off constantly. But a lot of times when I need to holler at whoever it is, I'm hitting the FaceTime button. I want to see you.
100%.
You know what I mean? I want to make sure you're good, you're breathing, you're alive, you're smiling, what's going on. So I just think it's important to have that community, man. I think, again, like a lot of people need to like search for it if you don't have it. And it doesn't have to be a huge group. I know you're looking at us, and we still missing people.
I'm about to say we still missing a
We
few.
still down
right.
like 4, 5.
Exactly. So start with one. You know, that's all it take, and then just let it build from there. But definitely, community is important, and I'm grateful for y'all.
For sure.
But like you said,
Slow.
it only takes, like, for mental health, like, it only takes having one person like that in your corner that you can count on. Having a group of people is absolutely lovely. But like you said, shoot for one and start from there, man.
Basically, we're speaking about having this relationship that helps with our mental health, but outside of the friend group, then it's time to balance the relationship, as in either with your parents. With your parents, there's like, yes, you can go to them, but I already know what you want to say, and I ain't trying to hear that. Then you have the other aspect of your lady. You know, if you want to go to your lady, but I'm supposed to be the man. Yes, you tell me it's okay to cry, but how many tears do I really have until, you know, I'm soft and I'm doing too much crying? So, you know, how do you guys kind of balance those different relationships whenever it is coming to having somebody to speak with outside of us?
I would love to hear from one of the guys, because I don't want to sound like we're perfect here. This question I battle with every day.
100%.
I still have a toxic masculinity battle that I feel as though I'm a provider, or that when I'm down to my last, it's on the man's man, like a caveman, to grind it out and make that next dollar for himself. I've never asked the girl for money. I turn it down when mom dukes or ask me. Like, I battle with it, so I would like to hear.
Yeah.
It's tough. I ain't gonna lie. It's tough. It's hard to ask people for money, especially when you supposed to be the one with the money.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, in my family, I'm one of the breadwinners, whether I like it or not. So it's like, it's hard for me to have to sit there and text my dad, be like, hey, send me $20, I can send it to you tomorrow. Like, but I just need, you know what I'm saying? And even though that's nothing, it's tough. But you got to put that pride to the side, really, because at the end of the day, that's family. You know what I'm saying? That's y'all my dogs. Like,
I think I have to get out of, it's 50% pride, and the other 50% is me thinking of my state like your state.
Right.
And then I'm like, well, damn, I don't pocket watch anybody. So what if I'm being a burden to you now? So I got to get out of that too.
And see, I can attest to that a little bit. So like, I'm like you said, you the breadwinner. I was the firstborn, grandchild, all that. So they look at me like, you need anything, let me know.
Right.
You don't know how many times my dad asks like, you good? You need something? Like, nah, I'm cool. Like, like I appreciate it, but I don't need that. Like, I appreciate the thought. I appreciate that you want to go that extra mile, but I need to learn this.
That's where I come from.
And I think the fact of, it's okay to say no, but it's also okay to say like, yeah, like I am in struggle. Like, and it's not even the fact of you, it's that you said you battle with that, what was the word you use?
Toxic masculinity.
Yeah, that's,
I just mean in that area. I don't mean like the whole aspect.
No, I get what you're saying, but it's okay to just be like, nah, like Mom, like I appreciate you and I do need that. And if you look at it from that masculinity stance, be like, I'm gonna pay you back. Like I got you. Like that. If I do end up taking something or something like that, I'm gonna make sure I pay you back, and I'm gonna make sure I do it in a timely manner. There's nothing wrong with taking help, because sometimes we actually really need it. Yeah. And I think that's just something you just got to go through as time progresses. Like it's not no one thing. And when it comes to your lady, bro, it's just being open. Like if you come in with open communication, let you know like, hey, look, this is where I'm at. And I know that's hard, but sometimes you just have to do it. And when you come in saying, this is where I'm at, this is what I can give you, this is what I need. When times get hard, if y'all have that open lane of communication, it's not going to be difficult to have that conversation, because y'all already have it there. You know what I mean? So.
And it's funny, which I knew the conversation would go that way first. But it's us being men, and we automatically went to money. we automatically thought that I was talking about we needed help with money, financially, and things of that nature, which, yes, because we are us as men in our families' lives in our respected lanes, we are the breadwinner or the chosen one in the family, or just the one that has the magnifying glass on them whenever it does come time to finances and having things lined up, or being able to help others. But what about the things whenever you're in a relationship? Like, even so now, yes, I'm married, but before getting to having to really open up about finances in our relationship, it was, how do I open up about things that I'm dealing with emotionally, mentally? Like, even now in recent time, losing both of my grandparents within 3 months of each other, no money can help that. I don't care if I'm losing bread from having to travel, help with funeral, or whatever the case may be. No bread can replace that. And there's like, you've never lived without your grandparents. So you don't know really how, or, in other people's cases, other family members, brothers, parents, things of that nature, you most of the time have never lived without them. Or if you have lived without them, you had already mentally prepared yourself for life with them in the future. So that's kind of things that we run into that kind of crashes our whole world and changes the course of the direction that we go. So let's speak on it from that point of view, to give them the side that we hide the most and we just cover up with money.
To be completely honest with you, that's an area for me where I bottle up everything.
Yeah.
Like, even to this day, like, I've gotten a lot better at, putting little sprinkles out there and just trying to, read the room about situations. But even then, like, to this day, like I said, bro, I'm still putting emotions in a bottle and just waiting.
Right.
I know it's gonna explode. When is the question?
But how healthy is that?
It's not.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not healthy at all. So, like, when it comes to maintaining certain relationships, you have to take, even though you don't want to hear what your parents got to say,
Right.
go ahead and bite that bully, dog.
Facts.
Just go ahead and sit down and take whatever they finna tell you, the good and the bad.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, they telling you what you probably want to hear and need to hear. Exactly.
Facts.
So it's just, I feel like when they was going through it, who's to say? Like, we didn't live back then, but it was probably easier to bounce back, kind of. In today's world, with the economy, how this is set up, boy.
Hey, you really can't afford a loss no more.
No.
You know what I'm saying? So even on the back end of that, like, you know what I'm saying, just taking heed to what they got to say, excuse me. And then from the aspect of in your actual relationship, like you were saying, bro, you just got to be willing at that point to say what's on your mind. Because if not, that your internal battle is going to bleed into your relationship, and you can mess around and lose your relationship because of the mental battles that you facing and don't want to talk about. Because your ego in the way, or your pride may be in the way, or you just ain't trying to have that conversation.
100%.
And
Put the mask on and go.
And I'm not just saying to just, like, it's easy to just open up. I had to go searching. I went through things with my mom that had me trying to find emotions and learning how to express those things. Right. And sometimes that's what things take to happen. And so when I went through that, that's how I began to open up with my emotions. Because if I don't like it, I'm gonna let you know. If I ain't feeling it, we're gonna have this conversation. But that's just how I learned to deal with everything that happened with my situation. So coming into it, with a man that hasn't dealt with that or still trying to figure out how to open up about those things, it just comes with practice, bro. You got to really want it. If you really want that relationship, you're going to do what you need to do to make it last.
Yeah.
I think the hard part is the pattern recognition of the past experiences where you've tried to do it and didn't get I don't want to say you get the reaction you wanted, but they didn't. Right. They never responded well to it. You know what I'm saying? And so, like, if I try to express myself, you know, for example, to a young lady I'm talking to and she don't respond to it well, immediately I'm thinking,
You
all right,
shut down. Yeah, I can't.
Yeah, I don't want to do it again.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Why would
I'm
I
not
give you
trying to
another
keep
chance to hurt
doing
me?
that.
Yeah.
It's not for her though.
I know that, but it's like, for me, it's like, I'm not going to keep putting myself through that. Just
I don't even want to try it again with the next woman. What if she does? What if she does me like that?
You know what I'm saying? And it's like, now you passing on things that don't even need to be passed on, all because you scared of what somebody else did. Or even if you do it and it happens again, or you do and you just tired of that happening, and you get to a point where you stop sharing, and it's tough to get out of that cycle for a lot of people.
Facts.
A lot of people. Yeah.
Like that's one of them things that turns you nonchalant. Like, and I went through that. Like that exact experience. I'm just chopping it up with Shawty. You know what I'm saying? It's somebody that I know. I'm feeling like I mess with her. She mess with me. I just need somebody to talk to at this point.
Right.
Chopping it up, get to, you know what I'm saying, getting down to like the root of what I'm going through. She looked at me and was just like, boy, you tripping. I was like, oh, that's who you is? All right,
This is what I'm gonna be.
This is not even serious.
Don't
Steve.
even worry about it
no
Hit
more,
me up
baby.
the next day. What you doing? You want to? Nah, I'm good.
Nah, I'm cool.
What's wrong with you? Nothing, don't even.
You not the one.
Now you're back in that shell.
How do you combat that? How do you move forward and maintain a healthy mindset and perspective in your relationship, either with that person or the next person, through that experience? Because I added what I added in just to go more towards Pat's point, because as that continues to happen, it's going to shut you down.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Keys.
So, I mean, for me, just me personally, how I move, once I read that from you, I look at you a little different. Because I ain't finna just sit here and say I'm like the easiest person to talk to, but I'm always willing to listen to whatever, you know what I'm saying? If you got a question, you just want to vent, I'm here for whatever the case may be. So, should I expect that out of everybody I meet? Probably not, but I do. And that might be a fault to me in that perspective. But once I read that, it's just like, all right, I'm cool on you. But moving forward from beyond that, you kind of maneuver a little different in how you answer certain questions or how you open up, just to read who you talking to or whoever you talking to in that moment. Just to give you the clarification to kind of like, all right, cool, I can kind of open up a little bit more about this particular thing. I'm going to wait on that one, though. So that's just something, but that's something you learn over time as you learn how to communicate better in regards to where your mental is with said person.
Gotcha.
Also depends on how deep you are within the relationship.
To your point right here, that's all a part of the growth and wanting to fix problems. You don't understand that that's what you need to do or that's what you need to say until you do the work to get to the point of saying, oh, that's why I feel like this. Oh, she wasn't brushing me off, but she might have brushed me off, but that's hit or miss until you have the conversation. But it's from the fact of, did you explain, like you're saying, why it made you feel that way, or did you even understand yourself why it made you feel that way, instead of a retreat mode, what we're saying, like, oh, it's time for me to shut down, it's time for me to flee the scene, when in all actuality it's just a conversation away. And it's like we said, like I keep saying, it's us wanting to do the work, but a lot of times the hard part is for people to understand that there's work that needs to be done.
Try not to be reactive to the emotions. You know, you can see them, identify them, and then try to figure out, like, what's the best course of action. That's what I personally do. Try not to let too many things affect me, even if it does affect me.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? This may sound crazy. I'll tell myself, hey, we can deal with that later.
Yeah.
What do I need to do in the moment to make the best decision? Because one thing I've noticed, at least about myself, is that when you do feel those types of emotions or whatever's going on, and you don't want to express it, you can end up making bad decisions.
Right.
And to avoid that, I think the best thing to do is to just be still in those moments. Think it through, breathe, take some time. You should be good. We all smart enough to make, great decisions.
Yeah. What do you think are some pointers or emotions, reactions that we feel or go through that are triggers to say, oh, this is something that I need to work on mentally. Oh, this is something that I need to work on emotionally. What are some of the ways that somebody can realize, oh, I might need help? Oh, I might need to work on that.
Yeah, good question. I think it kind of just goes to what we all saying. Like, it's realizing, it's being still, it's being present, it's understanding like what's going on, and it's just having a conversation. But we have to know, as men, as human beings, no one knows us more than ourselves and the Lord Jesus Christ, of course, right?
100%.
But nobody knows us more than ourselves, right? So you got to be honest with yourself. You got to be willing to open up. You got to be willing to say, hey, you hurt my feelings, right? Hey, you talk to me kind of crazy, you know? I have those conversations, like, for real. Like, I'm so honest. I'm so open. But triggers and traumas are obviously from past relationships or whatever it may be, right? Like, we're so used to what I had before. I'm so used to what she told me when I tried to open up that one time, right? So you got to kind of let that go, bro. You got to come in, if it's a new relationship, a new marriage, whatever it may be, you got to truly have a clean slate. Like, honestly, like, you got to, like, leave a lot of stuff in the past and understand, like, hey, this person doesn't know you. Right. This person has to learn you. This person don't know that that's a trigger for you.
Right.
You ain't never told them, right?
Thanks.
How they supposed to know that one word because old girl 3 years ago said that tripping? Now, like, your girl now just saying, like, hey, you tripping, like, you being funny, right? But you hear the word tripping, you think you tripping again. You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's just like, it's noticing, like, little triggers and factors like that. But going back to the gist of the question, though, like I said, man, it's just realizing it, being still, being present, just wanting to truly open up and change, right? A lot of us obviously want to do it. It's hard for some of us. I understand that. It's been hard for me my whole life. It's something I still deal with. I'm not perfect, bro. Like, I come off as this strong-minded person I am. Don't get me wrong, right? But I have my battles, right? I have times where I'm in the crib and I don't know what to do.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I'm by myself and I'm like, man, you know what I'm saying? This room dark, you know, like these walls. I start looking around, right? Bro, but it's just like really wanting to do it, like I said, and then just accepting the fact, like, if you meet somebody new, that person's not gonna know you. Of course, you gotta understand that this is a clean slate. This is a new person. This person has to get to know you, and you have to get to know that person. So I think that's helped me in my current relationship, like, truly knowing that this person don't know me. Like, I lived 26, 25 years before this person knew me.
Right.
And that's a lot. I'm bringing a lot, but also she's bringing a lot. You know what I'm saying?
Facts.
So, like, it's like a balance. It's like a balance. So, yeah.
See, you mentioned something about an eternal battle. What about those people that don't know that how to have that battle internally? Like you said, it's some things that's triggering. What if you don't know that about yourself until it happens?
I think you gotta. A lot of times, a lot of our reactions are physical, are vocal, and things of that nature. Like, we know, if one of us might get mad, our skin might get tight, and we know the hairs might start standing up. We know we start breathing funny whenever we about to get in that state of mind that isn't healthy. We know. Our eyes start to water up, or, you know, our heart beat a little different, or, you know, there's physical indications that we know are all because something triggered us. So I think we got to start looking at those physical indications, because our body's not going to lie to us. Our body's going to tell us exactly what it's feeling, exactly when it's uncomfortable or something's wrong. And I think we just got to listen to it. A lot of the times, you know, we have those physical indicators, and, you know, we be like, shoot, let me go smoke some. Let me go get me a drink real quick. Then let me call up this girl. Let me see what's what. You know, and those are our coping mechanisms. So if we have the brilliance and the understanding to know we need the coping mechanisms, how come we don't have the understandings to know that we need help?
That's one of them things where you lack some form of self-awareness if you can't identify some form of a trigger. Like you were saying, your body is going to let you know when something is upsetting you in any form of fashion. So if you can't identify that in the moment, I don't want to say it like this, but you probably got bigger issues if you can't identify what's triggering you. Like your self-awareness is very, 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 very low. Very.
And that's what I'm saying, because there's some people that's out there that's just literally going and going. Like I said, they trying to do everything for their family. They trying to do everything for they kids, whatever it may be, for their job, that it doesn't click that there's something that's bothering you.
But most of the times they do know, but we're doing what we know to do, and that's suppress everything. So we know, hey, I know this is getting this is weighing on me more. Dang, I know I really shouldn't do this. I really shouldn't work them extra couple hours because I need to sleep, because I got to get up and go handle the kids and whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. But now we need the extra money. So we're always suppressing because there's always a bigger goal at the end, and we're so driven, goal-driven, and a lot of times we don't even care about the accolades. We just care about making sure nobody is bashing us.
When we get to the point that T-Ron is talking about, I honestly feel like that's a point where we should not be afraid of this or scared of it or feel ashamed of it, should be seeking professional help for our mental state.
For sure.
Be that therapy, psychiatry, but we've gotten to that point. Like, us six sitting here are not going to mend or like redirect your mental health at the best ability.
Yeah. And one thing I'll just add to the conversation, I think when you're wanting to talk to whoever it may be, because you kind of said something earlier that made me think of it. The conversation don't have to be perfect, right? You don't have to know what to say or how to say it. You could literally sit down if you're having a conversation with your partner. Hey, look, I need to talk to you, but I don't know how to say it. This is how I'm feeling, but I don't know how to say it. I don't know how to express it. And maybe they can help you express it, even if it's not your partner, friend, boss, coworker, whoever it may be. The conversation doesn't have to be perfect. You don't have to know what to say. You don't have to have all of the details, right? I think that's, as men, going back to what we started with, that pressure, wanting to be right, feeling like I have to be right, feeling like whoever it may be is dependent on me because of this. That doesn't always have to be the case. So I think just understanding that, knowing that, hey, if you don't know what to say or how to say it, sometimes, man, don't psych yourself out. Just express it, even if that means sitting there for a minute. You said something earlier, truly that helps me as well, and it's something that I had to learn, right? I used to explode, bro. I used to scream, in college. I used to be on the phone screaming in the phone, just crazy. I can't even believe now that I used to be like that. You know what I mean? So for real. So
He's not lying.
It's just lessons like that and learning. Yo, you gotta be patient. You gotta understand that no good decision is gonna be made out of emotions ever, right? That's how mistakes are made. So just calm down, take 5, right? I'm gonna deal with it later, and that'll handle. But that's work for me, truly. Just slowing down, being present in the moment, and really sitting back and all right, how we gonna make this work? You know what I mean? So.
It's gonna sound crazy. It was something as small as I had to send somebody $40 back one time because I did not do their artwork because I was so busy. That rewired my entire brain. I was like, no, bro, I have to get a schedule. I need to wake up on time. I need to show up. I need to be efficient. I need to learn how to make a flyer in an hour. I need to learn how to do this. And it changed my life all because I had to send somebody $40 because she was like, I waited too long for this artwork and you just haven't. And I had to send that lady her money back. I'm so sorry to this day. I had to send that young lady her money back. And bro, that just changed me completely. Yeah. Whole 180 within a week. And that changed my life. For sure. Honestly. Because now we here, and every day I'm up 7 a.m. working, everything getting done, emails getting out, calls getting made, deadlines, hitting all the deadlines and stuff like that. And it's just crazy how something so small can really just make that big of a change in your life. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
Mine's a little more sensitive. I lost my little cousin due to suicide, which is another thing that's super high right now in men. And that kind of made me take a step back and look at my perspective in life. where was he at that I couldn't be there to talk to him? Where am I at to where I didn't even see what was going on? Like, you know what I mean? So it took a step back for me to be like, hey, okay, what's going on with me? So I can be able to help those people that are in need. Cause there's a lot of people that are really attempting to do these things and we don't even notice the signs. And I think that really put a little notch in my brain, like, okay, Tyron, like, get your stuff together. Cause there was a time where I got let go from my job, got behind on my car note, lost the car, had to ask my dad now for help. Like, just those things alone is like, dang, you ain't got nothing together, bro. Like what's up? So just having to rethink about those things and the things that I miss is what I think was a pivotal point in my life to just be like, dang, like now I want to pay attention. Now I want to have those conversations. Now that's why I'm so open. Like things like that, I know it's life changing, altering and stuff like that. But things like that, it's just like, whoa. Like, and I was reading the statistics. It's 3.8 times more men that committed suicide last year than women.
And to add on to your statistic before you keep going, I saw that there is 444,536 suicides already in 2025.
Yup.
Yeah, so.
But it's just in the effect of, like, we really have to hone in and really try to look at those. I'm sorry I took it to the turn of this, but this is super important because more than half of those was mental health.
Right.
Just not knowing how to deal with things. And that's really why I brought the question up is how do I understand that? How do I get over that? How do I deal with that? If I'm battling this internal battle for myself and I don't know how to do it, how do I get over that? Because that's where a lot of the suicides happen. The suicide attempts alone, 1.5 million attempts alone. This was in 2024.
Yeah.
I can imagine what it is now. Like it's so important. Like this discussion we're having right now is so important.
The conversation for sure. I agree. Appreciate you for sharing that too. That's deep, bro.
For sure.
For real. For myself, a lot of y'all know the story. I think I pretty much shared it with all y'all before, but my senior year of college, man, like them last 2 semesters, really that last one. So 3, 4, 5 months before graduation, right? Not knowing what's next. Yeah, you're gonna have a degree, but like what you gonna do, you know? You gotta go back home. Right? It's not like you got your own place back home. So again, going back to what I started with, how pressure. Putting that pressure on yourself.
Facts.
Trying to finish school, relationship, trying to see what that next picture of my life gonna be. But all that, bundling it, internally battling, not really expressing my emotions, right? I stress myself out so much that I lose my hair. My hair starts to fall out. Literally, bro. Like I'm 21, 22 years old and I got patches all over my hair. They know for sure, like every week.
And Kari fucking loves his hair.
Right, crazy, right? You know that. You know
Kari
that.
loves his hair.
But coming home every week, because we were recording a pod, but I was really coming home to get treatments on my hair. Like, that was the main part, right? Obviously, I'm doing a pod, but like every week I was coming to get treatments, like ultraviolet treatment. It was crazy stuff, right? But that was the moment when my life changed. And I was like, yo, listen to your body, what you said earlier. Like, your body's telling you you're going through it, you're not eating right? You're not drinking enough water. So that's kind of like where my life changed and all that healthiness, all that. That's where that started. That's where that started. That's when I got in the gym for real, bro. That's why I really started to just pay attention. Like, what am I, what's my intake, you know, versus my outtake? Like, what am I really pouring into myself, right? And what am I pouring out of myself? So I really started to lock in. But yeah, man, like, that'll change your life. You know what I mean? When your hair start to fall out out of nowhere. Yeah, so that was the moment for me, for sure.
I think the moment for me, a lot of the stories that I exchanged in the beginning are like years in the past, and they stem from when I moved to Dallas, and there were things off microphone that I even talked to Kiesto about right before we started. And I hold my mental in so much, even with you guys, that I gotta stop In 2021, I moved in October, and I don't think I left until February or March of that next year. There were at least 3 or 4 months spread out. Not the whole months, of course, but like days at a time that like I'm in there, no electricity, no AC, none of that stuff. But a lot of it, 2020, 2021, like we spent out together, kicking it, partying, clubbing, having a good time. And I spent so much time and money trying to keep up with y'all, and trying to ball like he ball, or like he ball, or something like that. No, like I'm just saying it like that because at that time you guys were a lot more established. Of course, having careers, I just got a job. Like at that point, and it's costing me everything. It's getting to the point where like I said before, I'm not taking money from my parents. They can see it. They just sending money at this point because they know I'm going through it. And I finally got the opportunity to get out of that situation and move into a house in another situation. But it flipped my whole mindset around. I don't care what you have going on, what you got going on, what you. I don't care what's going on Saturday, Sunday, if we're going to the club, if we're going out to eat, if we're going out of the state. Everything in home personally has to be taken care of. That's not just financially, but that's what I'm talking about. Like me, 100%, I got to take care of myself before I even come see y'all. I spent too much time being low just so I could go out for one night and be high with y'all. And then I come home and the next 29 days out of the month are fucked. So it took me hitting really rock bottom alone to try to figure out how to do this by myself. So
that's real.
For me, I want to say this was about 2023, if I'm not mistaken. It's more so career-based than anything. This was around the time where we was going through so many changes. Like, my store manager at the time, she had just went on maternity leave, so she was out of the building for like 6 months almost. We had a whole nother management crew from a different store, because their store was getting remodeled. They was in there from February all the way to like almost October. That's when everything started to hit the fan for me as far as my career go, because I at that point I was confused. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I'm sitting in this building trying to figure out what's my next move. And then I had a conversation with the in-place manager at that time, and she asked me if something that I needed. I told her exactly what it is I needed, how I wanted it done and everything. I was off the next day. I came back a couple days later just to find out everything that she asked me, and I told her that I needed. She didn't do none of it. Went completely the other way. And that ran me kind of hot, because it's just like, at this point, like, where's the respect? Like, you want me to respect you, but you came into a space that was already established and don't want to respect it. Now, I had a conversation with her about it, and she laughed. Like, it was like a little chuckle at the end. That's when it clicked in my head, I need to separate my feelings from the business. Because at the end of the day, in that business, they don't love you. You gone, they replacing you the next moment. They don't care what you put into the business or nothing. They don't care. You been in their business for 50 years. That day you mess up, even the slightest, you gone and they replacing you.
Thanks.
They don't care what you done did for the company. You could have made that company bread. They don't care. And so that in turn led me to start questioning a lot of myself and a lot of my own traits, which in turn led me to seek therapy.
Yeah.
Just so I can find the underlying issues within myself that I can heal from, that I can get better at better at doing, and also understanding again, it's okay to separate feelings from the business. Because at the end of the day, your feelings will cause you to lose your business. Your business not gonna cause you to lose no
Your
feelings.
feelings. Yep.
So you've been to therapy before?
Yeah, I went to therapy for I didn't tell none of y'all. Like, nobody knew this. Not even my own mama, and I was staying with her at the time.
Yeah.
Like, I went to therapy for a solid, like, 4 months.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is he the only one? Y'all been to therapy?
No, I've been.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's something that I've sought out because I mean I've expressed to y'all before because we meet up like this at the end of the year times, not to necessarily talk our mental, but our goals for the next year. And I've kind of expressed to you guys like the personal like issues that have gone on like that I don't talk about. And I've always like thought about going to therapy. I've said I'm gonna do it. Like, oh, it's in my work plan. The insurance pays for it. Why not just set it up? But I've never gotten around to it. So I've really just been taking insight from people that have been to therapy, like on how beneficial it truly is. I want the whole experience. I want to lay down like Charles Barkley did in Space Jam.
So my pivotal moment is a little more recent. Probably like I've had a conversation with y'all about it, but kind of like the last year and a half has probably been the worst year and a half of my life. From going, I'm on top of the world, feeling like I'm playing in the league, got multiple businesses booming. I'm traveling, I'm cooking for the biggest and hottest athletes out, opening restaurant, just kind of a little bit of everything, but really around the time of last December before last, just kind of went downhill. So I guess starting with my grandmother passing June 8th, and that kind of went into the last month of my contract at a restaurant. Then ended up going through 2 different lawsuits, really, both by people that were calling me family and talk about future goals and things of that nature. From the restaurant stuff ending to my grandfather dying in October, to losing certain clients and athletes that I thought I would be with forever until they retired from their career. It just kind of just took a toll on me mentally as a whole. Whenever I'm thinking about these clients and things of that nature, you're like, if anything, I'll get a conversation. I feel like the relationship is good enough to have these certain conversations, to say this is what's going to be this is what's going to be different, this is what I'm thinking. Didn't get none of that. So it kind of felt like a breakup. Whenever you dedicate yourself and your craft or, whatever to somebody for 4 or 5 years, you build a different type of bond, different type of relationship and things of that nature. So that was pretty hard. Of course, with both of my grandparents going, it's like you kind of lose the glue. Your grandparents are kind of like the people that set the standard and the boundaries and the guidelines for your family as a whole. And it's just like, losing both of them at one time is like, now I felt like I'm the new glue. I'm the one that's supposed to try to keep everything together, keep the family going, happy, laughing, things of that nature. So that weighed. And so just a combination of it all kind of was just hitting me from every angle. And I really think it was just, not to go churchy, but I think it was just God stripping me down. Because I wasn't living fully right, per se. Yes, he was blessing me, had all the blessings and things of that nature, but I think I got away from the philanthropy aspect of things and not giving back to the people. I feel like I got away from church because I was just so busy, and Sundays were my only off days or something of that nature. I wasn't really paying my tithes. God's giving me all this money, but I'm not. What am I doing with it? Yes, I'm fixing childhood trauma with buying shoes and jewelry and things of that nature. So that all just weighed a lot on me. So financially took a hit, emotionally took a hit, mentally took a hit. So I just felt like I was beat down. I think now, probably in the last month or so, After the wedding, I forgot, a whole wedding in the mix too. Let's not forget about that stress.
Better speak up a little bit and talk about that wedding, boy.
I was gonna say, guys, who didn't forget.
I'm about to say he's super excited. I don't know. You know what's coming.
No, I'm great.
This was not the worst year and a half of his life.
Facts. That was amazing.
No,
was amazing.
she'll back me up on that. The wedding, being married is beautiful. The process to getting to it, for us at least, and for others that I've heard stories about, it was a little rocky and things of that nature. But the marriage itself and the bond itself is great. Just getting to that point of being official was, yeah. It all took a hit once other things took a hit. So yeah, that was my big turning moment. It was just kind of like a reset with me spiritually, emotionally, mentally. A lot of times I don't do things on my own, or I try not to go through things on my own, because I know one of y'all might be going through that thing too. And I always felt like and came to cahoots with that I have to go through some things to either help somebody else get through it, or because somebody is going through it and needs me to be there with them, which is kind of crazy to think like that. But that's just been my mentality. So like with me buying the devotionals, that's because that's something I wanted to do, but I knew I would stick to it more if I knew y'all were doing it and things of that nature. So that's kind of one of the ways that I helped with my mental stuff and included you guys without necessarily including you guys. Like, I know there was times I came to talking about it, and y'all be like, "Now, why you ain't say nothing? We could have, helped out here and there. We could have did this." But that was just me trying to figure out how to ask for help. So, yeah. But that brings me back to it all of I need to go back to therapy. I did do therapy whenever I was younger, virtual and in person. So yes, Ron, they do have the couch that you go, sit on. If you want to, most of the time it's just a regular couch, but if you want to swing around and kick your leg up, I've never heard somebody.
He's gonna lay down with the doodle pad.
They'll have he won't be in there.
Started when I was.
No,
hey,
but
it's the bottom
it's
of your shoes, fam.
Huh?
You don't even be wearing your shoes. Like
Nah,
that,
brother, it's only like second,
crispy,
third
boy.
time out. Come
Yeah,
on,
he
man.
only went on carpet.
Fact. They'll never see concrete. No, but no, it was a great experience to kind of give you guys the background for the ones who haven't done therapy. And Keith, I know you can attest to it as well. It's just good to have somebody to talk to that you do not care about going home with. And you do not care about going home with having that conversation. Like, you don't feel ashamed. Like, dang, I just told this lady all my business. Like, ooh, she gonna tell my cousin. She gonna tell the hood. She gonna tell woo. Really, bro? She barely remember your name, dog. So it's giving you that person that has insight of what you need, and you having an outlet with no string or emotions tied to who you're talking to. So it really gives you the chance to really let everything out.
That makes sense. With that being said, I'm going to rethink the black therapist thing. She might tell the hood. I know everybody around here.
But just don't get one in your city, bro.
But I'm glad you did mention the devotional, because the devotional today was living in the now.
Wow.
And so I think it's just a great opportunity for us to come in and share this, go talk about this, what we've been through, what we've learned. I think it's an opportunity to tell you, if you've been thinking about therapy, get in it now. Like, there's nothing holding you back, especially, if you got opportunities to do it to where it's not costing you any money, do it. So I think I just think the importance of how we came across this and living in the now, just living your now. And so I just think that's amazing. That's crazy that you brought that up.
Fellas that haven't gone to therapy, I'm not trying to introduce like brand new questions. I just had one.
Right.
What's stopping you from going? Is it that you feel as though at this point in your life it's not needed, or what is it that hasn't brought you into that door yet?
Fear.
What scares you the most about it?
With me, bro, it's trust. Which I was actually gonna go back to what you just said. Like, even though I know this person won't judge me or won't tell someone I know, I don't know you.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, but that's just me. I've been so like sheltered my whole life of keeping so much in. It's even hard for me to like tell families things, even y'all. Like, honestly, I mean, we talk. Don't get me wrong, but we all have our secrets, right? Don't get me wrong. So like, even little things like that. But yeah, it's just been fear, bro. Like, not knowing like what it's gonna be like, right? Trying to picture what the outcome is gonna be. I know that's not like the proper way to think of therapy, because therapy is supposed to be sort of like a release, right? But me is just trying to like control what it's gonna be like rather than just experiencing it. So I think that's kind of my fear. Key said something earlier. My job's been offering it since day one, and I haven't taken advantage of it, right? And same thing with you. I've talked about it. I've said I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna do it. We've talked about it, and I've just never done it. But hearing y'all feedback and, you know, having a conversation about it, not gonna sit here and make a promise, right? But I will say,
we
like,
stay on you about it though,
right? But I will say, like, I think it's something that I need, you know what I mean? Because still to this day, even though I express myself more and I tell you guys things, I still keep a lot in,
For
right?
sure.
And I think we all do. And there's still things that I don't know how to get through, right? And I don't know if y'all can help me get through it.
And the best part with you saying that point right there, the best part about therapy is you got somebody to paint the picture with. So as you're opening up with your therapist, with the right therapist, you'll have a picture in your head. And let's say, just to give a visual context, visual metaphor, actually painting. You know what you want to paint. Hey, paint me a tree with a sun, blah, blah, blah. I'll give you a whole list. You start painting, and as you're talking about these emotions and your traumas and things that you've gone through, it'll be like she right there on the other side of the painting, helping you paint the picture, and y'all create the end goal together. So it's more so of somebody to help walk you through these feelings, emotions, and not necessarily just somebody to tell all your problems to, because like you're saying, there's certain things you don't even know how to say, but because they've gone to school for this and they've done the training for this and they've dealt with a lot of people that have probably the same things that you have going on, it's that person being there to help you paint your picture and get your emotions out on paper.
No. I'm sorry. I was gonna say, you just helped me like really understand it, right? Because like I said, I'm trying to control the outcome. I'm trying to not be judged or whatever. But it's more of them like helping me, rather than I need you to solve this, right? Because they may not even have the answer for me in that moment. So that's real. Like I think I needed that perspective, because I never looked at it that way. Like I always looked at therapy like, I got issues. I need you to solve my issues. Right. And you just broke it down like it's not really that. So appreciate that.
No problem.
I think I carry like the same toxic type of masculinity standpoint on my own personal, even with the therapy. Like what keeps me out of it, and even out of talking about hard situations with most people, I've bottled so much in and not said so much for my whole life. When I even open my mouth to start to talk about difficult situations, tears well in my eyes immediately.
100%.
Immediately. So to avoid that, I just don't talk about anything at all. So I've honestly gotten to the point where like the man's man in me is like, I don't even want to get in there and start crying in there. Like I'm afraid to go in there and cry as much, because I feel like I'm not even going to be able to speak. I've held so much to where on the outside, I could be speaking to you or any of you guys, even my mother, and start to feel the tears in my eyes as I start to speak on like my pain. I'm like, man, I don't even know if I'm going to be able to get my pain. I'm going to cry the whole time in there, the whole time.
And might be what you need, though.
Yeah. You'll get that crying session. The first couple, it'll be hard to get through, just because she's asking you all of these or I say she just because that's
because she's going to be a black woman. Get a black woman therapist.
Bro, chill. No, they know coming into it, the first couple sessions, they want you to be emotional because they want to trigger these things so they can find out what the problem is. And like you're saying, it's so much built up. All those tears that have been pushed down, they're still there.
Oh yeah, they're still there for sure.
All
They're
that
still
emotion and all those feelings and everything that you're pushing down doesn't just go away. You deal with it, you cope with it for the time being, but it just keeps piling up. So therapists know going into situations, if you're at the point of therapy, you got some shit built up, bro. So they're coming in expecting you most of the time to be emotional and give you that space to be emotional, to let those tears out, because crying alone is cool. It hides everything from everybody, but that's still kind of bottling up emotions. That's still hiding emotions. That's still having a wall. So you going to therapy is breaking down that wall for you to really get past the wall and understand why you're crying. Got some?
Yeah, I was, because I haven't been to therapy yet, but I think it's two reasons. One of the main reasons is, like I said, that when that switch flipped in my head, when I had to send that young lady that money back, like, I started my discipline journey, and I started trying to find things like, find the problems and solve the problems. And so I've been actively working on that for years. And so I kind of convinced myself I probably don't need it, even though I do.
Right.
Because I try to actively go out and solve my own problems, but I'm sure it's things that I don't even know are there.
That's part of their suppression.
You know what I'm saying? And then the second reason mainly is just, it's a lot of things that, like, especially from like my childhood, I just don't want to talk about no more. I don't want to relive it. I don't want to see it in my head. I don't want to.
And you'll feel like that until it comes back again.
You know what I'm saying? And so it's just like, it's really just up to me at this point to make the decision. We're going to keep running in this circle forever, or we're going to go do something about it.
100%.
But it's just like, at 28, we ain't there yet.
It's okay,
but I know I'm not there yet,
everybody's
you know?
expected to be perfect. There's a camera in front of you, so it's
You know
like
what
you're
I'm saying?
expected to say the perfect things. But at my age, I have gotten comfortable with knowing I'm not Yoda. I'm not
You know what I'm
some
saying?
wisdom guide, and there's just some things that at my age I'm not above yet.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm just not there yet. But in that aspect, but I would definitely be open to it.
Yeah.
It's just certain aspects of it I'm not trying to dive into right now.
Gotcha.
If you was born in the 90s and your parents told you come home when the street lights come on, probably need some therapy.
Oh yeah, so born in '96, bro. We
Probably need some therapy. I ain't gonna lie to you, dog.
But I also know where a lot of it stemmed from. Like, my grandfather died when my dad was a kid.
Gotcha.
So like, he was raised by my grandmother. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's hard to go to my dad because
teaching
it's like,
himself how to be a
who did
man,
he learn
really.
anything from? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So he's doing his best teaching me, and it's like, I'm trying to do my best and learn, and I can't get mad at the situations that I was in when I was young because it was just him.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? But those situations turned into things that shaped me into who I am today, and I don't really just...
Becoming healthy with one and going to therapy or just real self-realization really has you sympathizing with your parents more. On one side. The other side, it might
Help you.
reveal some stuff about your parents depending on who your parents are. And not saying either is good or bad. Everybody has their problems that they've dealt with, but you start to understand how their problems affected you in a certain way. So and you start to be like, okay, well, now I understand why my dad talks to me like that or my mom talks to me like that. And now I know what to do whenever they try to do it again. I say try because we're at the age of we have to correct these things. And it really helps us with our healing, being able to understand where the hurt comes from. So just you mentioning how you understood where the certain problems came from with you and your dad and his past and your past. So
That's already
sure.
2 steps ahead. He already.
I mean,
ahead
parents
of the
got
game.
divorced when I was
Yeah.
4. Like, it's a lot.
Yeah.
Like, so it's
I
just
hear you,
knowing that, and then knowing the process that I would have to go through. That's gonna take
Yeah.
a long time,
bro. I hear you, bro.
100%.
and I don't know how I'm gonna come out on the other side.
Yeah, I still need
There's
to
no-
do
there's
So I
no
guess it's
bad
like what
way-
Kari said. It's the fear. Like, I
But
don't know
there's
how
no
I'm gonna
bad
come
way
out.
to come out.
Yeah, for sure. But I don't know if I'm gonna still be me
You'll be
You
a
know what
better
I'm saying?
version of you.
It'll be you, dog. Cowboy
to
Pat.
y'all. Cowboy Pat. I'll be turning into Cowboy Pat Rockstar Pat.
I think, like I said, I think there's two different ways to look at it. I think give it a session or two, or we'll try to figure out where we have a group session. Kind of just having a therapist come in and just talk to us about therapy, about certain things that they know with men, with black young men, and kind of soften your heart to the concept a little bit.
For me, when I went to therapy, it was fairly cool. Like you were saying, it's pretty much like, you know what I'm saying, painting a picture, or more so of for me, I looked at it as a guided conversation. You know what I'm saying? So there's gonna be things like in those sessions that happen, you don't even understand that it's happening, and you're at a point to where you're just talking. Like you get asked a question, and then that question end up taking you down a whole nother avenue. Then your therapist gonna ask you one more question to take you back to the first question. This whole setup, you just told your whole childhood and don't even realize it.
Realize it, and she could tell you. Oh,
And then she gonna start
Yeah.
pointing out certain things, or the therapist is going to start pointing out certain things.
we only want to talk to women. We don't give a
Inclusion.
Hey, y'all don't like Goodwill Hunting?
But yeah, it'll just start making you realize certain things. Like with me, it made me understand that I need that. There's a list of people in my life that I have to have conversations with in order to get rid of this particular like mental suppression of certain things that happened in my childhood. Now, have I had all of those conversations? No. Some of those conversations trying to approach that is I'm still trying to navigate how I would do that. Because it's with certain people that I ain't really, you know what I'm saying, too fond to have a conversation with per se. One, I am willing, but it's just like at that point in my life, like, do I really need to?
Right.
The other one is like, you need to just so you can get over that trauma.
Right.
And you and that person can be in a better space mentally for that. And going to therapy, that kind of helped me realize, like, you still holding on to things from your childhood that you so far removed from it. Why you still holding on to it?
Yeah. And you don't even realize you're holding on to
You
it.
know what I'm saying? And you start doing things to the people that's around you that was done to you, and you not even realizing that you doing it because you was a kid when it was happening. You was just witnessing these things,
Right.
not knowing that it's getting added to the character development of you. And so it took me so long to even realize that I had a whole lot more character flaws than I even initially thought. So the idea of it being fear, that's fine. It's perfectly fine. There's no need for you to try to go into it knowing exactly what's going to happen. Fear in the unknown, that's natural. Sometimes it can be good, sometimes it can be bad, but in this case, who's to say that it might actually help you grow as a better person, not only for the ones around you, but for just yourself. And so, yeah, like, bro, the fear is cool, bro. It's fine. You know what I'm saying? It's the unknown. What he said on the Boondocks, things that we don't know. So, like, go into it with that approach. Like, you know what I'm saying? With the painting the picture and meeting your therapist halfway. Because that's majority of the battle.
Yeah.
And on your end, I understand. Trust me. Trust Tyron know. I understand. And I was 28 when I had that self-realization myself. It's just like, all right, bro, like some of these, I'm not telling you the men relationships. You don't even have to go talk to these certain people that had that trigger in your head so you don't even want to deal with it no more. But having the understanding of, I went through it. I understand that this particular moment kind of probably made me this way. Am I going to change who I am? No, because that's what made me who I am. There isn't a thing in that moment that's going to deter you away from you. You're already established. You already have your morals and your principles in line. You already took what your pops could give. And at this point, I don't know about everybody else, but I see a man that's doing what he can at the best of his abilities on any given day. So touching on those moments, you might just have to do that. Is it gonna change you? I don't think so, because like I said, you already established. It's just going to make your perspective a whole lot more open. Do it, bro. Just do it, fam. Like,
Nike plug.
there ain't no like,
He ain't slick.
Nike plug.
I'm like, bro does never go home from work.
I mean,
Nah,
what
he right, though.
What it say? You gotta believe. You gotta believe. So no, just go ahead and just do
Literally.
what you do, bro. Like, especially in both of y'all cases. I mean, with you probably just gonna have to go grab some insurance real quick. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But for y'all, if it's there, bro, if your job offer it, take it. I don't care what it is. Therapy, lunch, pizza party. I don't care. If they giving you something, use it. It's a resource.
Yeah, you're right. My feet just been dragged on it, but it's something I need to do for sure.
Like, especially, it's just one of those things. Like, bro, if they offer that to you, fam, like, my job, bro, they offer therapy, stock purchase plans, financial literacy classes. Like, anything that we want to do, they offer that at their expense. So you ain't even got to come out of pocket for real. So just do it, fam. It'll be good for just the mental blockage that you might have. And it also can help heal a whole lot of things that you didn't even know you probably needed healing from.
Okay, so really to wrap things up, I want to say thank you for not only just showing up here, but showing up for yourselves, showing up for me, showing up for each other. But to close out, I kind of want us to go out with a phrase to kind of support what we've just talked about today. I'll start it off just to kind of give you guys an idea of what I mean by a phrase, and then we'll just go down the line. My phrase is, you got to be hungry. Not only is that my phrase for my business, but I'm using it as the phrase for this because you got to want to get better. You got to want to, you got to be hungry to get your mental better and to achieve higher goals and to work on those relationships.
If somebody has one.
I got you.
Go ahead.
Don't let failure define you. Just because something doesn't go the way you plan doesn't mean that you can't change it. You got this. Just keep going.
For me, I would just say, going back to what Keith said earlier, just don't fear the outcome. So that's more so for myself, you know. But definitely, yeah, don't fear the outcome.
You hear this one all the time, but I think mine would be check on your strong friends, just because this being Men's Mental Health Month, there's so many of your men friends or male friends that you know or think of as strong that are going through it right now as we speak. Like, check on them, check on their mind, check on their financial state, check on all of that.
For sure.
For sure. I think mine would be along with Kari's and just do it scared. You know, if you're going to do it scared. Just as long as you do it. We're not plugging Nike, but, you know, get it done.
Yeah. For sure.
Mine would probably be, don't go through hell and hot water just to stay there.
Mm.
Like, whatever storm you're going through, you got to understand, like, it don't last.
Facts.
No storm lasts forever. So at the end of that, like, yeah, feel what you need to feel, process it, take your time with it. Whether you give yourself 5 minutes or 2 days, understand your emotions and go through it. Don't sit there and soak in your sorrows.
Right.
Your sorrows is not gonna last forever. Your trouble's not gonna last forever. Give all your worries and let him guide you. Don't stay in. If you're going through hell and hot water, don't stay there.
I feel that. Yeah. Man, check in on your people. Like Ron said, check in on your strong friends. Like T said, check in on your funny friends and friends that ain't so funny. Just check in on everybody and reach out for help. We'll be posting this on our platform. So if you need to reach out to one of us just because we spoke on something that resonated with you, feel free to, and we'll help guide you in the right direction or point you in the right direction to receive that help. We appreciate y'all for tapping in. It's all love, and we out.